of the Appointments Committee officially discharging the acting Chief Justice Paul Baffa-Bunny after being grilled for hours before the Appointment Committee. Well, a lot has transpired tonight, and we just transition to Joy News Prime, and we give you our headlines tonight. The veteran of Justice Paul Baffa-Bunny descends into chaos as the minority rejects the Chief Justice nominee, vowing to vote against him after staging a dramatic walkout during his vetting, describing the process as a travesty of justice.
We would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room.
Well, the majority pushed ahead with the veteran of Justice Paul Baffa-Bunny, who described the minority's accusation of deliberately delaying the impaneling for former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkorno's case as populist and mischievous. Also tonight, we go to Ewoyaa in the central region, where the community's dreams are on hold as Parliament's delay in ratifying Ghana's first lithium mining project has left farmers unable to expand, families stuck in unfinished homes, and the community's future uncertain. We bring you the latest in our latest series, Hope on Pause, the Lithium Promise. Also tonight, Gold Board and National Security crackdown on illegal gold trade, arresting 25 people, including foreign nationals, for engaging in illegal gold fabrication and smuggling activities. We also have business and prime sports here on the Joy News channel. My name is Faustina Safo. We are your home of independent, fearless, incredible journalism. Please stay for details. Well, let's take you back now to the Appointments Committee. My colleague James Aveji has been there all day and is currently engaging James Agaga. Let's listen in.
Convert the law faculties as we have them currently into institutions where lawyers can be trained, even with respect to the practical aspects of legal education, so that they can sit the bar exams straight away once they are done with the LLB. Okay. And I think that was in line with the responses the Chief Justice nominee gave.
And so, do we get the impression that he will get enough government support in order to get this through for the legal education system to be expanded?
Of course, yes. He would get the support of government. Already, if you look at the manifesto of the current government, you'd find that there are a lot of proposals which are aimed at reforming legal education in our country. One is the scrapping of the law school as we have it in its current form. And that is why I said earlier on that, look, the law faculties would now be transformed into faculties that would also offer practical training, so that once you are done with your LLB program, you are trained sufficiently to sit the bar exam, and when you pass, you're called to the bar.
Your final reaction should be to your colleagues on the other side of the committee who have staged and walked out of the process after that back and forth. What do you make out of that?
Oh, I was very disappointed in the minority for staging that walkout. Look, they came here to score political points. What is this thing about dependency of cases? They went to court and lost in the first instance. They wanted to injunct, first of all, the process of appointing a Chief Justice, and failed. And so at that point, I thought that they would have seen reason and participated in the vetting of His Lordship, the Chief Justice nominee. But they decided to stage a walkout because they came to the conclusion that rather than sit in there and vet the distinguished justice and see him acquit himself well, they would rather stage a walkout and make it look like the vetting was one-sided. But you saw how His Lordship distinguished himself, his wealth of experience, his knowledge of the law. I mean, you can't question any of that. And so for me, the walkout was shameful. They ought to stop playing politics with things that are born out of law. You see, the Chief Justice was nominated in accordance with the law and procedure. You can't fault any of that. So if you decide to stage a walkout merely because you have filed lawsuits at the ECOWAS court, why you want the judiciary to experience a power vacuum because you have a suit before an ECOWAS court or even other suits before the Supreme Court? I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know, you can't injunct the president from performing his constitutional mandate. And that is what he did when he nominated Justice Bafo-Boni as the Chief Justice. And you saw how he distinguished himself.
Thank you. And so that's Honorable Mahama Yariga, who is Chairman of Parliament's Defense. Honorable Mahama Yariga, I'm just signing him out as the Chairman, James Agalga, Chairman of the Parliament Defense Committee. Honorable Shaibu is here. Honorable, you've also had the opportunity to put one or two questions before the nominee. What's your general impression about what we've seen today?
The chaos notwithstanding, we had a very successful voting. You could see from the answers provided by the nominee that this was an extremely competent person the president has chosen to lead the judiciary. And so far, so good.
There's been varied issues talking about the expansion of the judicial system to win out the delays of the process. There's been the talk about judicial education and all of that. Which of them stood out for you?
For me, legal reforms has been one of the critical things. And I mean, ever since we left law school, it's been quite chaotic getting students into the law school. Remember, a question was asked whether we had too many lawyers, and the answer was apt. I mean, from 1877 to today, only 11,400 lawyers have been trained against a population of 35 million people. And nearly half of these numbers are in corporate world. And so we need more. So legal reforms and legal education reforms is one of the key things. And I'm happy he answered it so very well, that the reforms, my office as Chairman for Constitutional Legal, I'm seized with the matter of legal reforms that will demystify this whole issue of entrance examinations to the law school. I mean, this will be a thing of the past. This is the last entrance examination students will have to struggle to 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 students will have to struggle for just 1,500 seats. And so for me, that stood out very clearly. And then also, I mean, his answers regarding the Supreme Court itself. Indeed, if you see the number of cases that travel right from the lower level to the Supreme Court, that is why the Supreme Court is inundated with issues. So if you could have, I mean, a special court for sure, or if cases could terminate at a certain point rather than all cases getting to the Supreme Court, it's one of the ways that we can reduce the backlog that he has. Generally, he had very great ideas, and you can see that he has a plan to reform the judicial system in Ghana.
My final one would be about your colleagues' walkout. In the press conference, they accuse you of pushing them out of the vetting process by creating a hostile environment for them, not allowing them to have their say as far as their leaders' initial comment was concerned. Is that not the case?
Thankfully, the whole world watched and the whole world listened. You see, we sit here and we interpret laws. We don't come here and do politics. If it's a press conference, I'm talking to you now, that's a press conference. But when we sit here, this is an extension of the plenary. So this is Parliament. And we work with rules and regulations. So in the first place, they were the first to even raise an issue of practical experience of saying that the nominee should be designated as such and not to call the nominee a Chief Justice. Chairman complied. Subsequently, they refused and or failed to follow simple rules because the rules are very clear. We are here under Order 217. On the basis of that, we follow rules. The fact that there is an issue about what we are discussing in court does not prevent us. Nobody and no person can prevent Parliament from exercising its constitutional duty. You can challenge the outcome. That's your right. But exercising your duty, your constitutional mandate, indeed, the exercise we did, there's a constitutional imperative. And that ought to be done. Exactly what we did. So their walkout was just a facade. I mean, they had planned it long ago.
But they said you were intolerant because you would not allow their leader to even make the statement before you react to it. Every sentence comes with an interjection from the majority leader.
They had a script they were marking, and we didn't want them to mark that script.
Why?
I mean, apparently, you see, if you come here and impugn the integrity of persons who are not here to defend themselves, that is not tolerated by Parliament. And our rules frown on that. And so if you start that, majority leader will not allow you to go ahead with that. If you mention anybody's name here, the rules of natural justice, basic law, requires that you give the person a hearing. But those people are not here. If you impugn the integrity of a whole committee that was set up by the president, and which is not part of the subject matter. And so these are basic things majority leader was just averting his mind to. Say, stay off from these tangential issues because they do not help the cause of what we are doing. Clearly that. We never frustrated anybody. They had a script that they were marking. They marked it well, and they worked out well.
You reject that allegation?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just, this is the best time for them to have done what they did. Indeed, they missed a golden opportunity of asking questions. Look at the brilliant nature and way that these questions were answered. They missed a golden opportunity of asking those questions. I'm sure perhaps they will go to the media and now ask those questions.
And so, thank you so much. That's the Honorable
Shaibu Mahama.
Okay, Shaibu Mahama, and he is reacting. He is a member of Parliament for Daboya Mankaragu constituency. Let me just run you by some of the key issues that has been coming up leading to the completion of the vetting process. The nominee himself have been responding to the minority's position. Those issues about allegations of deliberate delay in hearing the Justice Tokonu case that is currently before the Supreme Court, as well as the expediting of the injunction case, which was ruled out, was brought to the floor or was put before him by the majority leader, Mahama Ayariga, who said he's asking that on behalf of the minority who had walked out. The nominee said on the matter of deliberate delay in hearing Justice Tokonu's case, if that statement was made by a non-lawyer, he would have let it slide. But because it is made by a practicing lawyer, the minority leader, he said that is mischievous and it is also populist. He also rejects the assertion that the injunction was hurriedly determined in that matter. And so he believes that parliament vetting is a constitutional matter, it's a parliamentary duty which it is performing. And so there is no infraction on any constitutional provision as far as that is concerned, and the minority is trying to project. And so those are some of the key things, apart from the conversations about judicial e-justice systems and the expansion of the judiciary. Those are the key issues that have been coming up in the second half of the vetting process for Sina.
Thank you, James Aveji. But if you just tuned in, you're wondering what transpired on the Appointments Committee, the reason why the minority walked out, watch this.
We hear with a heavy heart, but an unshakable resolve to defend the Constitution of Ghana, protect judicial independence, and uphold the rule of law. We gather to vet a disputed nominee for office of Chief Justice of Ghana. This should be a moment of national pride and institutional renewal. Instead, it has become a test of whether Ghana's judiciary will remain independent or fall under executive and political.
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader, just hold it a second. Yes, Honorable Ayariga.
Mr. Chairman, we are here because our rules say we should be here. And the same rules indicate exactly what we can do or not do when we gather here. Order 1237. 1237 says that the conduct of the speaker, the Chief Justice, members and justices of the Superior Court of Judicature shall not be raised in Parliament except upon a substantive motion. You cannot raise anything about the conduct of a member of the Superior Court of Judicature of this country in Parliament except by a substantive motion. No substantive motion is before us, and so the ranking member has no right, no lawful authority to raise anything about what happened in court, the processes leading to a removal of anybody, and the nomination of anybody. You have no right, pursuant to our rules, to raise those issues. So be guided, because if you raise them, I'm going to object.
First of all, the majority leader is clearly acting in bad faith.
When you refer to the nominee as Chief Justice, the minority objected to the reference to the nominee as Chief Justice and said that he is not a Chief Justice, he is a nominee to the post of Chief Justice, and so you must refer to him appropriately. Or acting Chief Justice, because he's also an acting Chief Justice. And an acting Chief Justice is a Chief Justice. Now, he has referred to the nominee as a disputed nominee. Disputed nominee. Disputed nominee. You are in court what? Are you in court litigating his nomination? No. Are you in court disputing his nomination? You are not in court challenging his nomination. So to the extent that you are not in court challenging his nomination, there is no dispute about his nomination.
Let me be unequivocally clear. The minority in Parliament objects to and unequivocally condemns the coordinated campaign to subjudicate Ghana's judiciary to political domination. Chairman, the facts speak for themselves.
I object again.
On the 22nd
I object again.
April,
I object again, Chairman.
On 22nd of April,
I object again.
2025.
Chairman, I object again. I object.
We would want to state on record that the majority can proceed with the questions. We do not intend to proceed with any question. We reject the nomination, and the records should reflect that the report of this committee be a majority report. We cannot be part of a process that would give rights to another and deny another of her bona fide as enshrined in the Constitution. Chairman, that said, we would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room.
Well, that's what transpired today during the Appointments Committee sitting. The minority staged a walkout, though if you have been watching PM Express, the minority leader sat here and assured that the minority will not boycott the vetting of the acting Chief Justice Paul Baffa-Bunny. You're still watching Joy News Prime. We're back with more. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. We appreciate your company. Away from that to other stories, frustration is growing in Ewoyaa, home to Ghana's first lithium concession. For 2 long years, residents have watched their lives stall. Farmers cannot cultivate new lands. Families cannot build homes and resettlement plans remain on hold, all because Parliament is yet to ratify the Ewoyaa lithium mining project. Emmanuel Chivenu reports in our first episode of our new series, Hope on Pause, the Lithium Promise.
It was all joy in the central region when lithium was discovered within Infantiman municipality and the Abra Asebu Kwamankesi district. To the people and chiefs, this was the beginning of jobs, progress and transformation.
This thing is going to benefit us and is going to provide us a lot of jobs.
But 2 years on, that joy has turned into deep frustration. The delay in ratifying Ghana's first lithium mining project has frozen all activities in Ewoyaa. No building, no farming, no development, just waiting. Under this tree in Ewoyaa, young men gather daily. It is their usual sport, once for laughter and plans, now for venting their frustration. All they can talk about is the moratorium and how it has frozen their plans. Among them is Richard Mensah, a father of 4, and Kwabena, a farmer. Both men are struggling to understand how a promise of development has left them with nothing. Richard leads us through overgrown weeds to what was meant to be his family home. Now, just a pile of weakening cement blocks. He points to the red marking sprayed across the block, the official sign of a freeze on all development. He says he and his uncle bought 4 acres to build and farm on, but all that has come to a standstill. Like many in Ewoyaa, he once worked with Atlantic Lithium, the company that discovered the precious mineral. But when the project stalled, so did his job.
They issue a moratorium on the land. From that day, you can't farm, you can't build, you can't undertake any economic activity. So the mine takes stock of every property from the date of the moratorium. So if you go and do something new after that date, it's classified as spurious or speculative. That is, you are deliberately doing it so that you qualify for compensation.
Richard's frustration is shared by hundreds of residents, all trapped between uncertainty and survival. Not far from Richard's land lives Kwabena, a farmer and a hunter. His story mirrors Richard's.
But me started a midday for Nana Lithium for no Ebeka say, Yenjai Ejumana Yen. They say, of course, you man, I'm mind no no, about no, just because I'm a tree for her. And the right now, or say a mom, because I'm bash as no, only about nice conversation.
He had planted plantain before the moratorium, and even that can no longer continue. Like many, he too lost his job when the company reduced operations following the delay in parliamentary ratification.
For 2 years, I one point I'm doing no. That's a me can I talk about compensation. So 2 years, so I'm doing come 4 posts. Now come here 1 point, and 5 posts. Oh, this year about me say, and every 6 months to be a job or dinner. Mbabi, Kefuna, Kasanka. You say I may wear high critics and can be 3 posts in account. Anka about the inquiry. Is that man?
2 years deprivation from undertaking any economic activity. No farming, no building, no project. Everything is no. So we even had to come in to go and negotiate that. Fine. Let them do these petty food crops like maize, like people were going to starve.
In October 2023, government granted Atlantic Lithium a 15-year mining lease for the Ewoyaa Lithium project. But before operations could begin, Parliament's ratification was required. 2 years on, that ratification is still pending.
Here we are fully ratification and lithium for because young hunde so ratify the lithium for now. Wababua Ewoyaa mine and see a straight abide there. Omomadiana na ombre lithium from and I hear we are mine. Yes, Rabem. No one electrify, I don't know, one for more. Yes, Rabbi.
During this delay, a moratorium was imposed, freezing all building and farming within the mining concession. It has left residents like Richard and Kwabena stranded, compensations unpaid, and resettlement plans stalled.
But no company will invest into such a venture when the government itself is not helping by way of what? Giving ratification to it. So when I told them, they understood it. And they saw that it is not the fault of the company.
At the time the lease was signed, the global price for lithium was about $3,000 per ton. Today, it has fallen sharply to around $850 per ton, raising concerns about the project's economic viability. In the lead-up to the 2024 elections, President John Dramani Mahama, speaking at a meeting with the Central Regional House of Chiefs, stressed the urgency of rectifying the Ewoyaa lithium project before it risks becoming a stranded asset.
Right now, lithium is the favored choice for batteries for electric vehicles. But if we don't mine it quickly, otherwise, if time passes by, we have what we call stranded assets. You have an asset, but it's stranded. There's no longer any need for it. And so I think that is something, this is a national cause. If that revenue comes, it's going to come to help the whole nation.
With the collapse in the world market price of lithium, there is now consensus. The initial terms of the lease would have to be revised to keep the project viable. In July this year, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, told Parliament he has received Cabinet approval to submit revised terms to Parliament for ratification.
The Ministry has notified Cabinet of the company's request, and Cabinet has granted me the approval to present new terms to be considered in a new memo with revised proposal for the consideration of Cabinet and to Parliament thereafter to save the project.
We will not forgive them if they defer it again.
2 years of silence, 2 years of waiting. The people of Ewoyaa and the 7 other host communities wait for Parliament's decision, believing it could turn their stalled dreams into reality. Whether the promise of lithium brings prosperity or becomes just another lost dream depends on one thing: action. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Ewoyaa, Central Region.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Now, Gold Board and National Security have arrested 25 people, including several foreign nationals, for alleged involvement in illegal gold fabrication, trading and smuggling. The arrests made between November 5 and 6, 2025 were part of a wider operation targeting unlicensed gold activities in Accra. The suspects include Indian, British, American, Swedish, Russian, Belarusian and Ghanaian nationals. The operation uncovered unlicensed gold refining and trading schemes at Domipila 2 and at Chimota Akweteman. Deputy CEO of Gold Board, Richard Nunekpeku, says no individual, local or foreign, will be spared if found operating without authorization.
Task Force retrieved 8 gold bars concealed on the premises, various gold trading agreements, assaying report and receipts, 112,500 United States dollars, 64,014 Ghana cedis in cash, and 2 sidearms found in the possession of suspect Clement Aglago and Emmanuel McAddy. Preliminary investigations confirmed that Legend Precious Metal was operating without a valid license for the Ghana Gold Board. Evidence also indicates smuggling route through neighboring countries and fraudulent schemes targeting unsuspected buyers. The following individuals were arrested are insisting in investigation. If you are arrested and you are arrested for engaging in these gold trading activities without license, without authorization, no particular, no call from anybody will save you. And that is the approach with which we work here. We've not succumbed and we will not succumb to any pressure.
The Gold Board estimates that illegal gold trading and smuggling costs Ghana nearly $2 billion every year, with total gold exports reaching about $8 billion as of October 15, 2025. The Gold Board believes that eliminating these illegal activities could raise annual national earnings to over $10 billion, strengthening fiscal stability and economic growth.
Illegal gold trading and smuggling has been estimated to be about $2 billion annually. So what we are doing today is looking at reducing the impact of that figure on our economy. So if you can imagine that so far, as at 15th October, we've done about $8 billion in gold export. If we add an additional $2 billion to it, that would have taken us $10 billion. And the impact would have been felt even greater than we are currently feeling. So for us, these enforcement actions are targeted towards reducing the impact of the gold smuggling on our economy and on the activities of our gold trading activity. Ultimately, if we are able to achieve success and weed out these syndicates and individuals who are engaged in this trade, what it means then is that on an annual basis, we'll be getting an additional $2 billion to over $3 to $5 billion in additional revenue.
Well, that's how we wrap up Joy News Prime. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safa. I appreciate your company.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. Finance Minister Dr. Kasiela Tuforsen has announced plans to introduce new policy measures aimed at driving growth and transforming the Ghanaian economy from next year. These initiatives are expected to be a key focus when it presents the 2026 budget statement to Parliament this Thursday. In a social media post, Dr. Forson hinted at several strategic priorities, including job creation, which he had earlier identified in an interview with Joy Business as a central theme of the upcoming budget. The minister is also expected to revise tax regulations featuring a reduction in the effective value-added tax rate paid by businesses, a move anticipated to provide relief to the private sector and stimulate investment. Meanwhile, businesses across various sectors have emphasized the need for access to affordable long-term financing and simplified tax laws as top priorities for the 2026 budget. More in this report.
These concerns were captured in the KPMG and the United Nations Development Programme in Ghana survey of businesses from different sectors of the economy. These businesses maintained that they also want some policy measures that will help improve support for small businesses in the country, as well as infrastructure development. Majority of these businesses engaged also wanted more allocation for the agri sector. When it comes to unemployment, some of these business owners want to be incentivized or get tax breaks to employ more graduates from the universities. They believe this is one of the surest ways to help create more jobs and also complement government's efforts. Most of these businesses in the survey cited high energy costs as a major concern. They're therefore looking forward to some relief in this area.
And to some other stories, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiema, has stated that Ghana's recent signs of economic stability are genuine, but cautioned that they are guided by volatilities. Speaking at the maiden Pan-African Central Bank Governors Conference in Accra, Dr. Isiema said even though the stability is real, it is fully untested by global economic uncertainties. More in this report.
Addressing the gathering, Dr. Johnson Isiema urged his colleagues to see their roles not just as policymakers, but as custodians of public trust, responsible for maintaining confidence in their nation's economy.
Colleagues, Africa stands at an inflection point. Economic growth is returning across many of our countries. It is projected at 4.1% in 2025, which would be above the global average. And inflation across sub-Saharan Africa, which averaged over 21% in 2023, is also easing. But beneath this progress, colleagues, lies our fragility. We still have to contend with high borrowing costs, thin buffers, and fiscal strains that can undo years of reform within months. In other words, our stability is real, but it is still young. It is still being tested. Just 3 years ago, my own country, Ghana, was in the grip of what the World Bank at the time called a homegrown crisis.
Deputy Governor for the Monetary Policy of the Bank of England, Claire Lombardelli, said partnerships like these are essential for building stronger and more resilient financial systems across the continent.
Accountability, as well as the challenges that we all face to these today. There'll be discussions on effective decision-making, on building resilience and credibility with the press, with Parliament, and with other external and internal stakeholders. We gather here at a particularly special moment for our hosts. The celebration of SEDI at 60 marks 6 decades since the introduction of Ghana's national currency, a symbol of sovereignty, resilience, and economic aspiration. The journey of the SEDI is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Ghanaian people and the pivotal role that central banks do play in shaping the economic destiny of nations.
The conference aims to strengthen central banking leadership across Africa through peer learning and shared experiences.
A while longer at the central bank because they have pumped $250 million into the market in the first week of this month. And this is part of the central bank's revised dollar intervention program designed to support the local currency. The following report has more.
This is the first part of the about $1 billion that will be sold by the Bank of Ghana to the commercial banks for this month. The move is part of efforts to help in firmly stabilizing the Ghana cedi and improve the liquidity on the market. The development has gone a long way to help stabilize the local currency for last month, recovering from losses posted in September this year. This was after some $1 billion was pumped into the market for the month of October 2025. Persons close to the Bank of Ghana have told Joy Business that they are using the windfall from the rising gold prices to support the market, and that the current program aimed at boosting the central bank reserves has not been affected anyway by this policy. However, some persons, like the ranking member of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, is raising questions about Bank of Ghana's approach in supporting the market with dollars to help stabilize the Ghana cedi.
That's all for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. We have Prime Sports for you shortly.
Welcome to Prime Sports with me, Daniel Kranting. Enjoy sports journalist Muftau Nabila Abdullahi was named 2025 Sports Journalist of the Year at the 29th Ghana Journalists Association Awards held in Kumasi on Saturday. This marks the second consecutive year that Muftau received the prestigious honor, reaffirming his position as one of Ghana's leading voices in sports journalism. He first won the award at the 28th GJ Awards back in September last year. The recognition celebrates his outstanding work across television, radio, and digital platform, where he continues to produce compelling sports stories.
Your Excellency, Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the winner, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi of My Joy Online and the Multimedia Group. Yes, please keep the applause going for my Muftau Nabila Abdullahi of My Joy Online and the Multimedia Group. Congratulations to you. And he's receiving this award for the second time running here at the awards. Shall we congratulate him with another big round of applause? Congratulations to you, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. And added to his exploits in sports reportage, he's also been embarking on a project to provide desks for his people in Du, in the district where he has emerged from. Congratulations to you, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Now, Morifing Donzo scored his first goal for Asante Kotoko in what proved to be the winner over ARC rivals Accra Hearts of Oak in the season's first installment of the Super Clash at the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday. The defeat ended Hearts' unbeaten start to the season while extending Kotoko's. Let's hear from both managers after the game.
And you would have expected a game of this nature to degenerate into very tough situations in terms of different phases of the game and in terms of different moments. I think that Kotoko still showed that they were very strong in terms of transitional play. We showed that we were very, very controlling in terms of our positional awareness and then finding the necessary spots. I think that the game was a very close game, and I might say that it wasn't the outcome we were expecting, but we realized some challenges and then strengths and also some learning moments in the game. And so I think that the two teams sold out a clear Ghanaian tradition of the game and the version of our rivalry of the two sides and a so-called super clash.
Before match is after match. How do you understand this? Before every match you prepare. After every game again you also prepare. So we're going to prepare now. When I sit down and then look at the happenings of what happened today, it means we scored a lot of goals. So my next training should be what? Goal scoring. And please, as a folk in Kotoko, it's not an easy game at all. The tension, the everything is not easy for from the players to the supporters to the coaches. So if you are able to get one, forget about all the misses. The one is 3 points. So I'm okay with that. Seriously, before God and man, I saw the flag up before the score. Me, I used to tell them the truth there. I don't lie. What should I lie for? Nothing. You understand me? I'm working as a professional coach. And I'm not on that duress. I'll tell you the truth and then finish. So I saw it before the kick. I saw the landsman like this. That's what I saw. Maybe that's that. What I want to write was the attitude of winning. I said it before during the press. We are coming with the mindset of winning, not to come and defend here. You understand me? So you saw that my boys went all out during the first half, and then seriously, tactically, we broke down. That is why I brought in 1 or 2 to come and help. It's all my changes were in the midfield because I saw they were tired.
Now, President of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, Kwabena Ewoyaa, has opened up about how the intervention of former FIFA President Sepp Blatter changed the space for African commentators about a decade ago. In a sit-down interview with Joy Sports editor Nathaniel Atto, Ewoyaa singled out Blatter for praise for revolutionizing the space for Africans.
There is no way you're going to have an African commentator running commentary
on the Euros.
On the Euros. It won't happen. It had to take the intervention of Sepp Blatter to put a halt to that. After his exit, we're back to square one. You know, so Sepp Blatter, if you remember, in 2010, decided that the World Cup should go to Africa. Before that, you know, South Africa had contested Germany
and had lost
for the 2006 World Cup. So what did Blatter do? He had to institute what he called a rotation policy to ensure that no continent would contest with the African continent. You know, so the 2010 World Cup was reserved for Africans. Morocco contested, South Africa, eventually South Africa won. After South Africa have won, because of the disrespect they still have for Africa, they insisted Africa could not host the World Cup and continually pestered Sepp Blatter with what plan B was going to be. They suddenly spoke about the fact that there was so much crime in South Africa, they couldn't host it, and what was plan B? And Sepp Blatter continually told them, South Africa is plan A, South Africa is plan B, South Africa is plan C, and ruled that only African commentators should run commentary on the world stage. But because of the level of professionalism that needed to be met at that level, Sepp Blatter sent international commentators to Ghana to come and offer some training. I remember John Helm coming to Ghana. And then from there, he took quite a number of African commentators to Senegal for training. And after Senegal, they went to Marseille and then finally in Paris.
University of Ghana student David Nakusi successfully defended his First Nations Bank Accra Marathon title following his triumph on Saturday. Nakusi, who won the men's 15-kilometer race last year, was once again the star of this year's marathon as he beat off competition to retain the title.
Of people came out for the 2025 edition of the First National Bank Accra Marathon, which took place on Saturday. In its third year since the partnership with the financial institution, the event organized by the Dansoman Kifet Club saw a huge turnout. University of Ghana student David Nakusi successfully defended his title after finishing first in this year's competition. Nakusi, who won the men's 15-kilometer race last year, was once again the star of the marathon as he beat off competition from Ishmael Atta to retain his crown despite an increase in the distance to 21.1 kilometers. Speaking after the success, the former Adisadel College student was proud with his achievements.
I am so excited for taking my title again. Yes, I am so happy. The starting was very good, but I know today I was competing with my seniors. Farah, you are a good athlete and you are competing among your colleagues. At least you have to take time and then use your mind.
In the female category, Kenya's Florence Kichira came first and was closely followed by Ghanaian duo Mariana Edu and Joyce Ayaba. She praised the toughness of the competition despite the challenges.
First of all, I would thank God for the chance, and then
The race was a bit competitive and the weather was challenging. There was a lot of heat. In the first place, I feel good competing here. The weather is a bit challenging, but you have to be courageous to face the race.
The event featured 3 categories of runs, including the junior run, the 21.1 kilometer race for both male and female, and a 10 kilometer corporate race. Collins Mensah, who won the male 10 kilometer corporate race, says it was an easy work.
You know, it was an easy work for me, honestly. It was an easy work without any competition. So I'm hoping to, this one is a 10K, so maybe next year I'll try the 21 and see. Yeah.
In attendance at this year's event was the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West, who revealed plans to support the event.
It's one of the oldest marathons, you know, but then as we had our conversations today, I think we just need to find a way for them to get more sponsors so we can have the full-fledged marathon, maybe like from Nungwa to Dansoman, you know. But then, so far, I'm happy and I'm proud, and that's why I'm here with my chief executive, so we can see how best we can also augment what they're already doing to also grow sports and healthy living in Dansoman.
The organizers also praised this year's event while promising an improved experience in subsequent years.
With all honesty, that we have built upon last year's successes. We draw so much on our gains last year, and probably this is where God has brought us.
And that's all for Prime Sports with me, Daniel Kranting. Thanks for your time.